Today, let's make a weaving. You have set up your loom and are ready to weave. Start by picking a new color for your weft strand. The weft strand is what goes under, over your warp strands. I've got some blue here. Let's cut a piece about the length of your arm spread out. Then grab either a large sewing needle that is not sharp, like this one, or you could use a popsicle stick. To use the popsicle stick, place the end of the string on it like this, then secure it with a piece of tape. Let's go ahead and try this with a needle first, but I'll show you both ways. To use the needle, we need to thread our string through the eye, the hole at the top of the needle. Don't try to push the end through because it'll probably separate and it'll be very difficult. Instead, fold the string over onto itself to make a little loop. Then pinch it as close as you can so that only the tiniest bit is showing. Now wiggle the eye of the needle on top of that little yarn nub. You should be able to pull it through from the other side. If this is tricky, you could always make your own needle threader. Find a tiny rectangular shape of scrap paper or cut one, then fold it in half like a long, skinny, foot-long hot dog bun. Put your thread inside the bun so that the end is hiding. Close it. Now push the end of your paper through the eye of the needle. You may need a smaller paper if it doesn't fit. Voila! We threaded our needle. Let's tie a knot by crossing the extra and pulling it through the hole to make sure it doesn't fall off. Once you have your popsicle stick or your needle ready, let's start weaving. I'm going to start by taking another piece of tape and taping down the other end of my string to the back of my loom. This way it won't come off. Okay, we are going to go over, under, all the way across our loom. Use your needle to guide the weft over, under, using that needle to lift up the warp strands you want to go under. Over, under. Over, under, over, under. There, all the way to the other side. Once you're there, pull your thread until there is none left besides what we taped on the back. Now we're going to do it again. This time, let's think opposites. Instead of starting on the right, like we did before, we're going to start on the left this time. And instead of going over, under, we're going to go under, over. If you're not sure, look at what you did last and then do the opposite. If you went over it, you gotta go under it. If you went under it, you gotta go over it. If you came out from the left, you're gonna go in through the left. I went over it, so I'm gonna go under it. Then repeat. Under, over, under, over. Now let's pull it again. This time, don't pull it too hard. Not until there's not much. Then just allow the weft strand to go gently behind the last warp strand. If you pull this tightly, the warp strands will get all squished together and you want to keep them separate, just like they were at the beginning. Keep it as even as possible. Let's loosen this back up. Whichever side you came from is the side that you start on this next time. So I can always check if I'm not sure. I was on the left, now I'm on the right. I went over it, so I gotta go under it. It's the opposite every time. This is key to have a successful weaving. Let's go ahead and go under, over, all the way across. Pull it. Make sure your warps are straight. Let's do it again. Over, under, over, under, over, under. If I'm not sure, I can even look at the row underneath that I did last time and check my work. Each warp strand that I went over last time, I am now lifting up with my needle to go under this time. Opposites, opposites, opposites. All the way to the end. Pull it. Whoops. Something is not right this time. If you have a long line of string across your weaving, it means you started in the wrong side. Whoops. It's okay. We can always fix it. Just go back the way you came, back it on up, back it up, and then pull it out. There we go. Now we can try it again. I need to start from the other side because that's the side I came from. So if I came out the left, I go in the left. If I came out the right, I'll go in the right. I came out the left this time, I gotta go in through the left. I went over it last time, so I gotta go under it. Under, over, under, over. Let's go ahead and fast forward as I finish off this blue thread. Okay, so I'm done with my blue thread, and let's check this out. It is so cool to see your work start to take form. Well, let's push our weft strands down to make them nice and tight. You know you're doing it correctly if you don't really see much of your warp strands once you are weaving on top of them. If you see a lot of your warp strands, it might mean that you are skipping some as you're going. So make sure you're taking your time to go slow and go under, over each one, checking underneath to make sure you're doing the opposite of what you did last time. If it's not perfect, that's okay. Just keep going. The rest of your weaving will cover up any little blemishes and imperfections you have. Artists have to check their work all the time. Get in the habit of checking as you go. If it doesn't look right, pause the video, go back and watch again, or ask an adult for help. Let's switch to another color. Take off your needle, but don't lose it. I've got some multicolored yarn here. Let's go ahead and tape this to a popsicle stick this time. Take the two ends of your last string and your new string, then cross them. Whichever one is underneath, flip that one under, then grab the two ends again. Whichever one is underneath, push it through the hole we created. Then pull. That's how you make a square knot. Go back and watch that again if you need help. Make sure your knot is nice and tight. Then you can cut off some of your extra. Now we are ready to keep going, but let's check. I came from the right last time, so I need to start from the right this time. I went over last time, so I gotta go under this time. Under, over, under, over, under, over. Let's keep going. Be careful as you go not to pull too much and create knots. Push your weft strands down as you go. Let's fast forward. This will take a couple of days to complete. Take your time and make sure you're having fun. This should be a relaxing experience as you get the hang of it. It's something you can do while you're watching TV and chatting with your friend. Here's what I've got so far. Let's pause here and I will meet you in the next video when you're finished. See you next time. Love, your Cozy Art Teacher.